Hello, thank you so much for watching. This is Warren Redlick. It is apparently Robotaxi start day. Oh, thank you, Mark, for giving the gift membership. Really appreciate that for Brooke. Thank you all for joining me here on this live stream. This is the big day. It is, according to Jose Del Corral, who, if you don't know him, he is one of the Tesla team members. Robotaxi.start. I think that's programming language for Robotaxi is starting. Tesla, this is just minutes ago. Stuff that's like this is pouring in right now. I'm going to miss a lot of it because I'm doing this live stream. But we just have the Tesla AI team saying something happening today. This is minutes ago. And Ashok Ellaswamy, who is the head of the Tesla AI team, saying this is 8:31 p.m. here, so 30 minutes ago. A puzzled look on his face. What's going on? So there's a lot of activity. Omid has been described at times as Elon's right-hand man. I don't know if that's fair, but he's been described that way. So Omid says excited for our Robotaxi launch this month. I think this was a few days ago. Driverless cars have been operating in our factories for over 2 months. We're not using dedicated lane for these cars. They blah, blah, blah. And then there was video of Tesla cars going. So they've been driving driverless. What time will this start? Can you guys hear me? I assume you guys can hear me. What time will this start? Hello? I don't know. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Are we going? Yeah, okay. I see a comment. When will it start? So Robotaxi was originally supposed to start at 6 a.m. Austin time, and then it got pushed back to noon Austin time. It's supposed to run from noon until midnight. That's my expectation for Sunday in the US. It is 9 p.m. on Sunday in Thailand right now as I speak. So there we go. The chat confuses me. Sorry about that. Somebody said, when time will this start? Like, I thought we already started. And I'm seeing tons of stuff. Here's from the Tesla AI team. Again, just minutes ago. Tesla AI, Tesla Robotaxi and Quicksilver. You're seeing a lot of images. I saw a red one. I've seen black ones. A lot going on there. And then something that, if you're a Tesla content creator like me, I'm seeing a lot of my friends. Chuck Cook, another Rebellionaire. Please check out Rebellionaire if you're interested in innovative investing strategies, particularly in Tesla options. And Bradford Ferguson, great for wealth management. Chuck, I saw a video with him with Herbert. They were doing a Waymo yesterday. So a lot of stuff here. There's something in the Tesla community when you have an event where people get together, people who have seen each other online, people who have communicated online, get together in person. I don't get to do this. I've been away for 2 years, but it's really a nice thing for us, not just for the creators, but also some of the fans, some of the investment community. We meet a lot of people, and it's a real positive thing. So there's no actual event. There's no like Tesla presentation at Giga Texas or anywhere else, but people are getting together. I've seen a bunch of these guys getting together at Austin proper, which is a hotel. I'm sure they'll get together in other places. The Robotaxis start giving rides at noon Austin time. It's finally the day to kick off the Tesla AI Robotaxi service. This is Joe Tetmeyer. Joe Tetmeyer is famous as the guy who drones Giga Texas, drones other places, provides lots of video giving us all hints of what's happening at Giga Texas and more. So I would encourage you to follow Joe, follow Chuck. Herbert is going to be live streaming one of his rides, and maybe he'll be live streaming more than one ride, so keep an eye out on Herbert. Just another example of another Robotaxi that's been seen out in the wild. And then this is like literally just, I think I have another one of these. These like pouring in like right now. The Tesla AI account on X is responding to Sawyer. No chase cars on the Robotaxis, and Tesla AI team says this is like letting your teenage kid go out on their own for the first time. My friend Scott says, don't joke, that's seriously stressful. Tesla AI team says, we've raised them well. And this is, by the way, kind of special to me because I have said for a long time when people talk about FSD that it's like that driving FSD supervised is like supervising your teenage driver, but you can actually take over. And people are criticizing Tesla. Oh, they're going to have a person in the passenger seat. Well, you can't really fully intervene if you're in the passenger seat. If I'm teaching my 16-year-old to drive and I'm in the passenger seat, there's only so much I can do. So having someone in the passenger seat, maybe they can press a stop button. We don't know exactly what their purpose is, but it's happening. Um, and there was one more here. There's somebody caught a video. Look for Adan Guajardo. He has this video, or look at the Tesla AI team's reply and see the post above. The wipers just go over the camera. They run the washer and they just clean the camera because the front windshield doesn't need to be cleaned except where the cameras are. So they actually designed a mode, and Tesla AI team says it's rubbing its eyes. They actually designed a mode for the camera so it only bothers to wipe where the cameras are, which is just above the rear view mirror for the driver's rear view mirror in the center of the car. So I hope I've answered the question that the Robotaxi first day is supposed to start at noon in Austin. So I'm very excited about this. I've got more stuff to talk about, but I just want to hit on this point that things look great. Very excited for Tesla to go forward. See, looks like okay. We got 105 people watching. I don't really monitor the live stream that much just to make sure we're all still here. So there was a question. There was a question. Hey, Chicago. All right. There was a question about how fast will they be able to scale, in your opinion? I think we're going to see 10 or 20 robo-taxis today. I think it probably won't grow for at least a week, and they're going to see how it operates, and they're going to see how it goes. Hello, Jan. So we'll see how it goes for a week, and then assuming things go well for a week, and they'll gather data, they'll watch what's going on, they'll talk to the safety observer in the car, they'll look at everything else they see, and then assuming things go well, they'll expand to 40. What I heard was that they have 100 cars ready to go. That they're doing 20 cars today, but they have 100 cars ready to go. So they're ready to expand to 100 cars quickly. Of course, Tesla can just punch out robo-taxis. They're Model Ys. They make, I don't know, they make $1 million a year. So in a week, you can make, I don't know, 20,000. So they can pump out as many as they need to. So this is fun. Mark Potachnik, who's one of our moderators, he says, the bus is still great competition for Robotaxi for me. Let me just talk about that quickly. Robotaxis will not be cheap at first. They will be competitive with Uber, with taxis at first. $2, $3 a mile in the United States. Until they scale sufficient to have a high volume, they can't lower prices, because if they lower prices too much, there's too much demand. And then you'd have to wait too long for a ride. So they have to balance the supply and demand. If they lower price too much, there's too much demand for supply. So that's going to be an ongoing challenge for Tesla for years. Over the long haul, I think we're going to see cybercabs giving rides for 50 cents a mile, which is well below the cost of ownership of a vehicle. And you will see more than 10 million robotaxis in the United States, robotaxis around the world, ultimately 100 million plus robotaxis. But how long will it take? How fast will it be? It's going to be moderate through this year. You're going to see it expand in Austin, maybe beyond Austin and Texas. You're going to see it somewhere, probably Los Angeles. I think California is going to be challenging because there's going to protesters will protest anything in California, and that could be a real problem. We've seen how many of the robotaxis have had a supervising car behind them in the last 24 hours. I just saw a post that I think that's in this post. Don't have chase cars anymore. There are no chase cars. They're already gone. The chase cars are already gone. Will they be using Model Ys or the two-seater? The two-seater is not manufactured yet. They will be using Model Ys in this initial round. I don't think we're going to see Cybercab until 2026. They've said they're not going to manufacture Cybercab until 2026. So that's not necessary. The real advantage of Cybercab is when you're at volume, when you're at scale, you're going to be able to get the price down to 50 cents a mile or less. Right now, the pricing is going to be $2. I'm guessing, we don't know the pricing, but I'm guessing the pricing will be $2 a mile or more. So there you go. Let's see. I just wanted to, we'll come back to Robotaxi in a second. Just really quick, if you check out my X account, WR4NYGov, I think there's a link in the video description below, and I'll put this on X as well. But if you're on X, you already follow me. I post other content. So there was a video of my new Model Y at the Andaman Sea, the southern edge of Krabi Town. Just some stuff that I post on X that you might be worth seeing. I did a poll. I think this is worth talking about. Which of these four are you most excited about? Leaving out Robotaxi. There's a performance Model Y rumored to be coming soon. There's the more affordable model coming soon, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Green the Only, a popular X account, said that he saw in the code that there's a 6-passenger Model Y coming, which I'm guessing is 3 rows, 2 seats each. And then there's the new Model S and X, which not surprisingly came in last. I was surprised that more people aren't excited about the 6-passenger Model Y. I think Americans, I'm not going to talk about Iran, at least initially. I'm not going to talk about politics initially in this video, and I may not get to it at all. I think in the United States, I think the 6-passenger Model Y would be more exciting to American consumers from a business of the company standpoint. I think the 6-passenger Model Y might be equally important to the more affordable models. I'm not sure. I think the more affordable models will probably sell in higher other parts of the world. I just want to stress this. I think no one knows. No one outside Tesla knows. I think the more affordable model will be there may be more than one, but I'm expecting an SUV like the Model Y, but significantly smaller. Probably, the way I like to say it is the Model Y is 2,100 liters of cargo space when you fold the seats down. So shrink it to 1,500 liters, which is still bigger than the BYD Atto 3, which is one of the best-selling cars in Asia. It's certainly one of the best-selling cars in Thailand. So if you are larger than the BYD Atto 3, so you have a differentiating point in size, and you have, of course, Tesla's other advantages, then that should sell well. A car that small won't sell well in the United States. Try to think of a car smaller than Model 3 and Model Y that sells in high volume in the United States. You got the Toyota Corolla, and that's about it. Because you can get like slightly smaller with, maybe a RAV4 is a little smaller than a Model Y, but it's not small enough. Because you can have a 7-passenger RAV4, right? Honda CR-V, they're not that much smaller than Model Y. So vehicles that are significantly smaller than Model Y, they don't sell well. Nissan Kick, I think, they don't sell in a high volume. So I think the 6-passenger Model Y, if they come out with that will sell well in the United States and in Asia. So, what was this question? More affordable models were promised this summer. Is the first one the Cybertruck, and what else? Cybertruck is not a more affordable model. Cybertruck's been around for a while. More affordable models were originally said to start production in the first half of the year, which would be within 10 days if they haven't already started. That didn't mean they were going to announce them. It didn't mean they were going to deliver them. It just said they were going to go into production. Lars said more affordable models this summer in a fairly recent interview. So then he didn't say deliver or produce. So when are we getting the more affordable model? I don't know. I think the Robotaxi news overwhelms the importance of more affordable model. And people will complain about more affordable model not being announced before the end of the month if it happens, but it's no big deal. Have we seen how? Okay, we did that. Invitation said not to sit in driver's seat, safety observer, and passenger seat. So yeah, it's one person who has the invite and one passenger, one plus one, and they have to go in the back seat only. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, please check out the chat, WR4NYGov, link to my X account. Where is the new Roadster? Who knows? I don't know where the new Roadster is. I'm not worried about it. That's the cherry on the icing on the cake, right? Another thing, there was recent news about, I think this is from Sawyer, a couple days ago, that Tesla is going to be opening its first showrooms in India, Mumbai, and I think New Delhi. And I just want to really downplay expectations on Tesla India. My expectations are very low for Tesla India. So this is the top 10. I don't think you can see all of them, but the top 10 best-selling cars in India in 2024. The number one, which I think is that it? Maruti Baleno or something like that? I think there might be two above that. No, I think that's it. The Maruti Baleno, it's like an $8,000 car. Okay, the average selling price of a car in India might be $14,000, right? So Tesla's not going to be able to sell a car for less than $30,000. So the market, the total, and there's 4 million cars sold in India, but a huge majority of those cars are well under $30,000. And what's the best we can expect for Tesla in India, which they're not going to be manufactured in India? I mean, I think you're going to be lucky to get under $40,000 Tesla sold in India. That's just my take on it. So the volume of those cars is low, and then they're only in 2 cities. India's a huge, huge country. There's got to be 10 or 20 cities that are really large. So if you're only going to be in Mumbai and New Delhi, which are, those are two of the big cities, but Hyderabad, Bengaluru, there's so many big cities in India. Um, I'd be amazed if I say they will sell less than 5,000 cars in India in 2026, and it might be 1,000. I'm not that optimistic about India. There's so many potential issues. I'm hearing there's no super meaningful supercharger network. If they build a supercharger network, people will steal everything. It's like, I don't know. Yes, I'm still in Thailand. So don't get too excited about. I'm going to come back to the chat in a second, but I only have a few things left here on the list, but just India is a challenging market. You've got political issues, you've got bureaucratic issues, you've got, and I'm a little annoyed that they're opening 2 showrooms in India. They only have 1 in Thailand. They'll sell more cars in Thailand than they'll sell in India. Even though Thailand is a much smaller country, the best-selling cars in Thailand are $20,000 pickup trucks. The Toyota, the Isuzu D-Max, the Toyota Hilux, and the Ford Ranger are number 1, number 2, and number 5, and they're $20,000 vehicles. Best-selling car in India is $8,000. There's lots of $10,000 cars in India. There are some cheap cars in Thailand, but not that cheap. not as far as I've seen. I haven't seen anything that cheap in Thailand. Why is there an AI 5 if Tesla solved FSD? Let's address that question before we move on. There's no solving FSD. If FSD today is twice as safe as a human, don't you want it to be 10 times as safe? If FSD hardware is safe for driving cars, but if you come out with a newer chip, it can drive a car and do inference work for AI and do better inference work when the car's not driving, then you want a new chip. If the new chip is more efficient, if the new chip is able to be, a variety of reasons why you would want to continue. There's going to be an AI 5 chip. There's going to be an AI 6 chip. Apple didn't stop making new iPhones because the iPhone 7 was really good, right? Honestly, I don't think there's been a lot of improvement since, like, say, the iPhone 10 or something like that. But they keep making new iPhones, right? So they're going to keep making, the hardware gets better. You take better hardware, you make better stuff. If the new, more affordable models are new form factors, do you think they will also be FSD capable? Every vehicle they make will be FSD capable. I do think they will be new form factors. And I think there will be a new form factor 6-passenger Model Y that will be longer. Have we hit Operation Vacation? I'm not sure about that. I think to some extent they did hit Operation Vacation. Operation Vacation was if the AI gets good enough that they no longer need AI labelers. And I think they did mostly lay off the labeling team. I think that happened a while ago, actually. Have they eliminated the need for AI engineers? So far, no. And the AI engineers that might go on vacation for the cars will still be working on Optimus for a very long time. Andy says China EV dominates in Thailand. Can FSD runs in Bangkok with its chaotic traffic? I don't think Bangkok traffic is chaotic. It's just slow, and there's motor, and then we have. I don't think the traffic's that chaotic in Bangkok. Is the traffic in Bangkok really more crazy than Manhattan? To some extent with the scooters and motorcycles, yeah, but I think the chaos of traffic might be overrated. China EVs do not dominate in Thailand. There's a lot of Chinese EVs, but what dominates in Thailand is pickup trucks, and there's no meaningful EV pickup trucks in Thailand yet. Number 1, Isuzu D-Max. Number 2, Toyota Hilux. Number 5, Ford Ranger. I don't even know if the EVs have cracked the top 5 yet in terms of sales, but the BYD Atto 3 sells well, and the BYD Dolphin sells well, and there's some other Chinese EVs that sell well. BYD has something like 40 sales centers. Tesla has 1, so they're going to outsell Tesla here. It is crazy that we're waiting to see a cab. How will Ashok steer Optimus program? I think that there's a lot going on with Optimus. That's a really good question, Matt. So first of all, they have to get it working. We know that Elon is already talking about the next generation hardware. So what we expect is with the hardware platform that they have now, they're going to be making hundreds of Optimus this year. Sometime probably end of this year, early next year, my guess, they will have a new version of the hardware because they're iterating probably quicker right now to get to the point where they can manufacture at some scale. So we'll see a new version of the hardware for Optimus early to mid 2026, and that will be produced at 10x the scale of whatever they produce this year. So one is just getting the hardware to where you need it to be able to function well, and then two is getting your software. So that ultimately, Optimus is almost certainly going to have AI 5 hardware for now, and then down the road AI 6 or whatever. So, and Optimus, just for people who don't understand Optimus, the cars have to navigate space. They have to navigate a specific domain of space, roads, parking lots, places where cars can drive. Optimus will have to navigate much more complex spaces, but at much lower speeds with much less risk because Optimus weighing, I don't know, 120, 150 pounds going at 5 miles an hour will cause a lot less damage than a 4,000-pound vehicle going 80 miles an hour. So there's a lot less safety concerns. But in addition to navigating space and navigating more complex spaces, the cars don't manipulate objects. So the Optimus is going to have to manipulate objects. So there's multiple levels of stuff that Optimus needs to do. And I think they're going to want bigger neural nets to be able to develop a better understanding of the real world. And that gets us closer to AGI, frankly. And then you may onboard Grok onto the cars and Optimus, and that'll be a big deal as well. And how will Grok interact with the AI and the navigational move objects AI? That's going to be interesting to see how they do that. If I were in the US and lived in Tesla, would you buy a Model Y or wait to buy a Cybercab? If I were in the USA, I would be driving my Model X Plaid. That's a hard question. I mean, I wouldn't be waiting to buy a Cybercab. I would buy if I need a car, I buy a car now. If I don't need a car now and I have a car I like, I'm not buying a new car. Where I am now is I just bought a new Model Y and I expect to buy another Tesla next year for my wife. Probably if they have more affordable models, that's what we'll get. She wants a Model 3 Performance, right? You want a Model 3 Performance? She wants a Model 3 Performance. The Model Y the Model Y long range with acceleration boost isn't fast enough for her, so she wants the Model 3 Performance. I don't think there's any robot company acquisition coming. Any idea how many conventional taxis and Ubers might operate in Austin? No, I think somebody said there were 300 Waymos operating in Austin. And then you've got Ubers, and then I think conventional taxis are going away. I don't know about that. Glad to see you broadcasting. When will the Robotaxi have Starlink? I don't, Elon has talked about this before. Cars don't need Starlink. If they are in a place that has good 5G, that's good enough. The cars don't need Starlink. There may come a point in the future where it makes sense when they have 40,000 Starlink satellites that are, V2 or, full V2 or like some future version V3. It may make sense for them ultimately to put Starlink in cars, especially cars that are driving long distances and going places that are poor cell coverage. But generally speaking, cars don't have that much need to communicate at high bandwidth, so it's not really necessary. How is Thailand? Thailand is wonderful. It's a little rainy right now, but I not that rainy. I think it's fantastic. If Robotaxi is successful, will people still need to buy and maintain their own cars? No. My expectation is it's going to take several years, but as you scale Robotaxi, the price of the rides go down. The more Robotaxis you have, the more rides go down. You're going to scale geographically to different places, and then you're going to incrementally add cars. And as you increase the supply of the cars, you're able to lower the price of the rides. As you approach $1 a mile, which is well above what the average individual pays, you start to get an increase from people who have high cost of driving. People who have poor credit and pay more for insurance and for car loans. People who have DUIs on their record or other bad driving records. And it's 10% of Americans have DUI on their record, and their insurance rates might be higher. So those people might be paying a lot more. People who drive less. Elderly people who don't want to own a car. So you're going to start... The demand rises rapidly as you lower the price. So it's going to take a while to get the price point down to 70 cents a mile and below, which is where you really start getting the vast majority of the market start saying, I don't want to own a car anymore. So need to buy and maintain you don't need to buy and maintain a car now. You can take Uber now. It just costs more. Should Tesla ditch the solar bezel and just buy Enphase for $5 billion or buy Lyft for $8 billion? I don't even know what Enphase is off the top of my head. No, Tesla shouldn't ditch the solar business. At some point, interest rates will come down and the solar business will boom. The solar business is slow because interest rates are high and the the return on investment, the length of time it takes for the investment in the solar to pay off takes too long. If you lower interest rates to 2% instead of 8% on the loan, then the monthly payments are a lot lower on the solar, and then the solar is easier to sell. The cars can surely use LTE over Starlink for the cars don't need much communication at all. They have a map. They know where they want to go. It operates based on what it knows. You can drive your car without connecting. I don't know. You don't have lasers to drive, so it doesn't need LiDAR. Streaming in cars might need Starlink. Streaming in cars, um, I think that's overrated. I think people are gonna stream on their phones. If you anticipate you're gonna be out of cell coverage, maybe you download more stuff ahead of time. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna be a huge problem. That's not like a big Robotaxi issue. Being able to stream video when you're out of 5G coverage seems like a not a big deal. Tesla Energy to Sky. Tesla Energy will do well. I've heard IVM is extremely expensive these days. Have you priced it there? Yes, I have priced IVF here. We are considering doing that later this year if we need to. I don't think it's not nowhere near as expensive as the US. I don't know, quarter the price, a fifth the price, something like that. I think it's less than $10,000, maybe less than $5,000 a cycle. A cycle is you try every month. Infinite Hope, hello in Vietnam. I visited Vietnam. We visited Vietnam about a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. We went to Da Nang and Hoi An. We live in Krabi, Krabi, Thailand. Thoughts on the Tesla XAI merger potential? Great question, Brooke. Thank you, and thank you, Mark, for giving Brooke a membership. I don't think Tesla is going to merge with XAI. I don't see any reason for it. People talk about this all the time. Tesla should acquire this. Tesla should acquire X. No, I don't think Elon wants XAI under public ownership, where BlackRock and other companies can come in and buy up a stake and then take control of the company. XAI will partner with Tesla no matter what. Elon's companies always work together. I just don't see the advantage of them doing that. I don't get it. And Brooke, by the way, if you do become a member, for everyone else, if you do become a member of the YouTube channel, or you become a subscriber on X, then sometimes I post videos, and I do have a bunch of videos coming. Believe it or not, I haven't been posting a lot of regular videos. I do have a bunch of videos coming. 2 interviews with Brian Wong, another Model Y, a second part 2 of the Model Y review. I think I'm going to make a video about my quinoa lentil recipe. I might make a fitness video. I got a whole bunch, and I have a string of Thailand videos to make. So when I post videos, often I provide early access to the videos to YouTube channel members and X subscribers. So please follow me on X, subscribe to me on X, or become a YouTube channel member. I'd appreciate the support. I'm okay on the money. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. But it doesn't hurt. Really, I do appreciate the support. Tesla and XAI can have a synergy of talents, but maybe not an official merger. Look, SpaceX never merged with Tesla. Neuralink hasn't merged with anybody. Boring Company hasn't merged. Like, he's got like 6 or 7 companies, and they all work together well, so it's not necessary. Direct to sell would be enough if the car just needs to ask the mothership to continue or not. Also for it's just not. How often are you out of cell phone coverage in your life in the United States? I mean, I'm here in Thailand. We almost never lose cell phone coverage, and the United States should have a much more robust cell phone network than Thailand. How much are you guys having this problem that you don't have cell phone coverage? Is this really a big problem in the US? Am I missing? I haven't been there in 2 years, but unless you're driving through some desert somewhere or you're behind some mountain, nobody's talking about charging the robotaxis. No evidence of induction charging. Oh, I don't think they're doing wireless charging on the Model Ys yet. I think Cybercab will have wireless charging, and that's going to be much easier to roll out. Wireless charging is going to be much less expensive infrastructure than the V4 chargers that they're putting out there. We know they're working on inductive charging, and Cybercabs will probably go somewhere, and it doesn't need for you to be able to see it. But I don't expect them to roll out the wireless charging mats or whatever they're doing till 2026, because they're not going to start manufacturing until 2026. Hello, Amy. I saw you in the space earlier. Nice to see you here. I did have a space. I'll just mention that quickly. If you follow me on X, I did a space. I don't do a lot of spaces, but Ryan Tanaka from Neuropod, he's the number one, if not the only Neuralink YouTuber. He and I had a conversation about life here in Thailand. If you want to know more about my life in Thailand, then listen to this space. It's recorded. Go to my profile and it's scroll down a little bit. It's there. We talk a lot about Tesla, about Robotaxi. We had a lengthy conversation towards the end about Neuralink. Can't believe we went 3 hours, so it's a long one, but skip through, listen for what you want to hear, and but Ryan and I had a great conversation. So please check out X Spaces as well. I don't do these a lot. I should do them more, but I don't do them that much. And really quick, I'll mention I think I'm gonna make a video about my quinoa lentil recipe. I had a conversation with I think it was chat with Grok. The brown part, okay, is meant to be, and I don't think it's a very good representation of it, a mix of quinoa and lentils. And I think this is a great replacement for white rice. 40% less calories, double the protein, 6 times the fiber, half the carbs, better micronutrients. I have a thread on X about it, but I think I might make a video about that and a recipe I make with it that's basically the equivalent of a fried rice. So fun. I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah, I haven't been as active on YouTube. It's happening. Anything particular that would surprise me today? No, I don't think so. I think it's just going to be. I'm expecting it's going to be a boring day. I wouldn't surprise me if some protesters tried to get in the way of a car. I don't know. Brooke says, would you say a portfolio of Tesla, Nvidia, Palantir, and AMD is overall good for the future? I'm really thinking Palantir might be cheap right now. Not financial advice, of course. I have never understood Palantir. It's not that I thought Palantir wasn't going to be successful. I've never in particular understood the growth story. I think NVIDIA is probably a very good investment. I don't have a strong opinion about AMD, but probably a good investment. Hard to tell how well AMD is executing. NVIDIA, I think demand for NVIDIA might be insane. They've got like 80% profit margins. The question is some competition going to come along that's going to cut into NVIDIA enough to cut into their profit margins? Or is the market going to grow so fast that it doesn't matter? And I think the second one is true. Instant pot recipes, please. There's some Japanese recipe that I've done before where you cook rice in a rice cooker and you throw in like a piece of chicken and some vegetables. I forget the name for it, but it's like you just cook the chicken and the vegetables in with the rice as you're cooking the rice, and it like works like crazy. It's amazing. Highly recommended. Look that up. Tesla releasing cheaper models second half of the year, most likely. I think that the more affordable models will be primarily released and produced in Shanghai, maybe Berlin, and sold in Asia and Europe. And I don't think there will be high demand for them in the US. Lars said more affordable models this summer. So I think we're going to see that. I don't know if we're going to see it by the end of the month. I think we'll see. And they said they would produce them starting the first half of the year. They didn't say they would announce them or deliver them the first half of the year. So I think we're going to see something about that in the next month or two. By the end of August, at least. If you really push me to September 21, which is I think the end of summer. And I think it'll be a smaller Model Y, a smaller SUV, two-thirds, three-quarters the size of Model Y, and vehicles that small don't sell well in the United States. So they will sell great in China, they will sell great in Thailand, they will sell great in Asia generally, and they'll sell pretty well in Europe too. I don't think direct-to-cell Starlink will be meaningful in the near future. I just talked to Brian Wong. That video is coming soon, and Brian thinks that will be a bigger deal in the next few years, direct to cell. He thinks that's going to be a big business. I'm not convinced about that. Yeah, Thailand 5G coverage is good here. That's true. Does it taste good? Does rice really taste good? I think rice tends to be boring. I think we're talking about the quinoa lentil recipe. I think it tastes better than white rice, but my Thai family thinks I'm crazy for eating this stuff and they won't touch it. And I think Japanese people wouldn't eat it either. I wouldn't eat it with sushi, but I eat it with Thai dishes and I think it's great. And I guess it's an acquired taste, but I don't think it takes longer than a week to acquire it. If you're going to eat brown rice, you might as well eat quinoa and lentils. NVIDIA's profit margins are so NVIDIA's profit margins this is the problem. Okay, their profit margins are high, but if somebody actually succeeds in competing with them, that cuts in. If there's not enough electricity generation to allow the market to grow like it's priced to grow, then they have a problem. Like, it's not clear. Cow tom gai, you mean tom ka gai? Cow tom gai? Cow is rice, tom gai? I don't know. We call it cow. Cow is the word for rice, and both Japan and Thailand The word for rice is also effectively the word for food or meal. So like in Japan, um, ban gohan, asa gohan is morning meal. Gohan is rice. Ahasa gohan is morning rice, is breakfast. Ban gohan is dinner. Hiru gohan, lunch. Gohan, the word rice is the word for meal. In Thailand, gin khao, I want to eat rice. Is are you going to eat food? Hugh cow, I'm hungry for rice. I'm hungry. If I had to pick yes or no, does Tesla go to 10 trillion by 2030? Yes. Did you watch the All In Pod this week on the potential of? No, I did not watch the All In Pod. I have lost. I don't know. The All In Pod lost me. I don't find it as exciting anymore. I used to love it. Now I just don't have the taste for it. I love the taste of plain white rice. Okay. I don't know. What about durian fruit? I have been eating durian fruit. My wife still doesn't want to give it to me, even though I've eaten it and liked it. She's still afraid I won't like it, even though I like it. White rice is the delivery food. Put anything on and delivered to your mouth. Well, you can do the same thing with quinoa and lentil mix and get a lot more protein and a lot more fiber. Like, I don't get it. Why are you mad at that? And less calories and less carbs. No cell phone reception driving through the Catskills, which started a short drive north of New York City. I'm from Albany. What are you talking about? Are you talking about on the thruway, or are you talking on some, Route 17? What are you talking about? I have good cell phone coverage driving. Are you like up in the mountains or something? Yeah, up in the mountains, you might lose coverage. But then, like, I'm trying to remember, there was one place I went and I think I lost, like I think there's places where you lose satellite coverage because of the mountains, although that'll be better with Starlink being broader. Safety rider is there to monitor the passengers and respond if somebody tries to cone the car. Exactly. I agree with that. New channel idea, Warren Cook's Healthy. I'm not doing a new channel. I thought about doing new channels. Like, if I make videos, the channel's name is Warren Redlick. It's whatever I want to make. Cow tom gai means kanji rice with chicken. Cow tom gai? Cow tom gai? Floy? Cow tom gai is kanji rice with chicken? Okay, my wife agrees with you. It's like a soupish sort of thing, right? Tom? Okay. Thoughts on recent updates on the relationship between Trump and Musk? Seems like they both made amends. I think that Elon is soured on Trump a little bit, and Trump is too busy to spend time thinking about Elon. It's an insult not to offer rice in some places. Sure, I was really worried when Musk Trump had a falling out, especially with how Trump's base easily turned against Musk. Okay, somebody asked about Iran earlier. I'll just say, I really don't feel. There's plenty of people on the internet who will tell you they know exactly what's going on and they understand everything. This is why Trump is right. This is why Trump is wrong, and this is blah blah blah. I really don't know enough. I don't like the Iranian leadership. I'm never surprised anymore at how the radical left will support people who would kill them. Women dressed in anything but burqas, claiming they support Iran and Palestine, Gaza. If they went there dressed the way they are, they would be arrested and or killed. Why are you supporting these places? I don't know. You're welcome in Israel. People dress however they want in Israel. You can be gay in Israel. You can be trans in Israel. You're fine. You go to these places that you're supporting and they kill you. But okay, you're supporting people who want to kill you. Trans for Palestine, trans for Hamas. Okay, whatever. And I'm sorry. Just one little thing that irritated me. My daughter is very pro LGBT, and I saw this thing. I think she had put it on her Instagram about, and I'd seen it before, that they were complaining that Trump was shutting down an LGBT suicide hotline. I'm like, why can't they use the regular hotline? Why do they need a special hotline? They want to use the same bathrooms, but they want a separate hotline. If you're okay with if you need to use the same bathroom as the women or the men, why can't you use the same hotline as the suicidal straight people? Help me out here. Somebody help me with that. I do look good and healthy. You look younger than 5 years ago. Great job. Thank you. Just really quick, I do eat healthier. I go to the gym a lot. I go to the gym almost every day. I think I went every day this week. I didn't get a real workout in today at home. I do home workouts on Sunday when the gym is closed. I did follow Kettlebell Dan. You should follow Kettlebell Dan on X. I did a brief kettlebell exercise just because I wanted to do something. Do I think the new affordable models are coming this summer? I've already discussed this, but yes, I think we will see something by the end of the year. I think the smaller model won't sell well in the United States, will sell well in Asia, in China and Thailand, maybe in Europe. Um, did I see the Secretary of Defense give an update on the situation this morning? No, I honestly, like, there's so much information. It's too much. I'm way more interested, frankly. I'm not happy about what's going on in the world. I don't like seeing wars. I don't seeing conflict. I don't like seeing bombings. But I'm a Tesla nerd, and we got Robotaxi coming. Like, I can pay attention to that a little bit. And I'll shit post about something on X about related to it, and I'll make fun of Iran threatening legal action. Like, are they gonna hire Jewish lawyers? Like, that was my joke today. But really, like, I'm obsessed. I did a 3-hour space today about Tesla and Neuralink and living in Thailand, and we talked about dating and marriage and kids and all kinds of great stuff in that space. Check out I think I posted that here. We did this space. We talked about life, the universe, and everything. Um, and I did a Zoom this morning with Brian Wong, and that'll be 2 videos coming later about how to value SpaceX and Mars. And Mars, that's gonna be mind blowing. It blew my mind when Brian told me how he valued Mars, and it was like, so that's coming in a few days, that video, and it's just like, okay, he got me. And then we did one on Polymarket. XAI made a partnership with Polymarket, which is a betting like prediction market, and how that might be useful to XAI and X. So that's really cool. It's all getting repetitive. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just sort of like, okay, somebody bombs some. I don't know. I want to care more. I care, but it's like it can only get my attention so much. Tesla stock. Well, let's talk about Tesla stock. Okay, so I'm gonna say I was wrong here. I thought when the Robotaxi network was imminent, I've had this theory that roughly 1% of the market understands Tesla, Robotaxi, and Optimus. And that those of us who understand it, we bought cheap and we will continue buying. If we have free cash, we'll buy at $800 a share, $1,000 a share, because we see the stock going to $5,000 a share. And 90+% of the market doesn't get it. And I had this theory that there's this like 3, 5, 8% of the market that are traders who anticipate that Robotaxi will drive the stock up, and they're going to want to buy ahead of the 90% when the 90% figure it out. So once the Robotaxi network starts operating and you start doing the math, and a lot of people have started doing the math and they see, wow, this is going to be crazy valuable, then you think the traders would want to get ahead of it. And then if you have like 5% of the traders want to get ahead of it, then 1% of the traders want to get ahead of the other 5%, and just 1% addition doubles demand for the stock, and the stock should go up, and none of it's happened. So the markets don't work the way I think they should work. Big surprise, I don't understand the markets. I went to Starbase for the first time last week. Mind blowing how much. Yeah, Starbase. I haven't been to Starbase in 2 years. Can you believe that? I've been to Starbase like 5 times in my life, and I haven't been there in 2 years. It's crazy. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate the kind words. Nice to see you, Connor. SpaceX later. SpaceX has been doing a lot of launches. Cool. Iran's going to hire the Delaware Court of Chancery. Yeah, that's going to be fun. When Iran sues Tesla, it sues Trump in the Delaware Court of Chancery, and Kathleen McCormick. No, I think Trump is appointing Kathleen McCormick to be the ambassador to Iran. Buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. Barry Glack sold because he thought it's going to bump. Yeah, look, I think that at some point, I don't understand markets. I'll tell you right now. Robotaxi starts operating. It starts to demonstrate it works. You start to see, and it goes from 20 Robotaxis operating to 100 Robotaxis operating, and then they're operating in California. And by the end of this year, they should be operating in 2 or 3 cities at a greater scale. And, who knows how fast it's going to ramp. But, my options are January 2027. So I got a big one. I do have one option that's December 2026, but a lot of my options are January 2027. It has to start showing up on the books by middle of next year. Does it take the market that long to figure it out? I don't know. I don't know how long it takes the market to figure it out. Tesla stock reality will set in next week. No, I don't like, I want to say that the market's going to figure it out, but I'm not in a hurry. I got time. I got time. It's from the movie The Incredibles. I got time. Yeah. So buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. Yeah, okay, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I'm just looking to see what else is going on in the chat. Well, we'll just let me just talk about this space more. I would encourage you to, follow me on X, follow Ryan Tanaka on X. Neuralink is really exciting. I think Neuralink is on. They've now publicly acknowledged their sixth Neuralink patient getting an implant. These have all been people with either ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, or spinal cord injuries. People who can't move, basically, who are now able to control a computer. I think one of them is controlling a robot arm. They're playing video games. They are, communicating with people. It has greatly expanded their ability to enjoy life and to feel productive. And this is just the beginning, and we are headed towards, maybe by the end of this year, the first blindsight patient. The first product is telepathy, which allows the person to communicate telepathically with a computer, to move things, move cursor, whatever. Um, the blind sight one will allow blind people to gain some level of sight. Ryan was cautious to say, "Hey, it's not going to be 320p. It's not going to be. It might probably not going to be 240p. It's going to be a limited resolution." But he does think that people will be able to gain some level of sight and not trip over objects, and it'll be somewhat valuable for people to be able to gain sight. And then over time, of course, they will improve the technology and cruise thing. I think he said that the latest Neuralink patient had twice as many threads with maybe 4 times as many nodes on the thread, so it's a much higher resolution potential. So if you're putting that in the visual cortex, you may get a lot better quality vision, so we'll see about that. Warren's new Tesla is costing, yeah, like, so, yeah, for those who don't know, I own a new Model Y, which you can see here, uh, and it's, glacier blue. This is, at the Andaman Sea, the southern edge of Krabi Town. And I paid 2 million baht for it, which is about 60,000 US dollars. And I did sell Tesla stock to buy it, and I sold extra because I have to pay taxes on the money I take out of an IRA. So yeah, if the stock goes up, 10x, then I lost $700,000 or something like that. Um, the whole auto industry is a cockroach compared to Tesla. I love that. Look, there's still like, I don't know, 7, 9 million horses in the United States. So horses stick around. Cars will stick around to some extent. So many people took the stock options when I got hired, and I took the 5K of Tesla stock 1.5 years ago. Some people took the 5K cash. Who was wiser? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know when you got hired in, Jared. I was there with my family a week before the first Starship on booster launch. Cool. Yeah, I saw. I think that's the one I saw. The one where the pad got decimated and sand went everywhere, and the media called it sand-like substance. My car was covered with a sand-like substance. That was hilarious. I'm very sorry to hear about B. I'm very sorry about your daughter losing her sight. I think Neuralink will have a useful product that will be at scale probably 2027. I think you'll see like meaningful increase in the number of units sold to be able to help with that kind of problem. Um, you know, Depending on how bad your daughter's sight is and how quickly it goes, how soon she would need it, I don't know. Speculation that June 28th, a new Model Q will drive from factory to home. No, I don't think we're going to see I don't think it's going to be a new model because no one's ordered that yet. It's going to be a Model Y that will drive from Giga, Texas to someone's home. And Elon, it's not speculation. Elon said June 28th, and of course, his timelines can be iffy, although he said June 22nd, and it is June 22nd, and we are expecting robotaxis to start operating in a few hours. So it will actually happen, it looks like today. So yeah, if the robotaxis are driving well, then there's no reason that the first car can't drive to its customer. That would be pretty cool. Um, Life is fun says time to visit Asia. It's always a good time to visit Asia. I highly recommend visiting Asia. Having now been here for a while, I will say this: one of the great things about being in Thailand, especially Bangkok, I'm not in Bangkok anymore, is it's really easy to travel around Asia if you're in Bangkok. It's like $100 flight to Japan for like 5 or 6 hours, depending on where you go in Japan. $100 each way. Fly around Thailand. Where are we going? We're doing a round trip to Bangkok in July. I think we're paying less than $150 for two of us round trip, right? Kuala Lumpur is like a 90-minute flight or 2-hour flight, maybe from Bangkok, Singapore. Singapore's a more expensive place to visit. Vietnam's 2-3 hour flight. I think Hong Kong, Taiwan, fairly short flights. If you want to go to China, I haven't gone to China yet. Maybe next year we'll go to China. You mentioned that Tesla will go to $5,000. Is the timeline attached to that model, Warren? I haven't redone my model anytime soon. I mean, I think the plain and simple reality is if you just do the math looking forward, okay, let's cover the model. Okay. 2030. I think Tesla easily has 10 million robotaxis running, making $50,000 a year each in gross profit for a $500 billion a year gross profit for the company just on robotaxi, leaving out Optimus, which will be making profits by that time and maybe even more. What was Tesla's gross profit last year? Less than 20 billion. So you're talking about a 25x in gross profit, not including Optimus, not including how much Tesla energy has grown. I don't think you're going to see much car sales anymore, but okay. So 25x. Well, what's a 25x on the stock price? Right? A 10x on the stock price is $3,000 a share. So, and then if you are an investor and you see where it's going, well, then you're probably at $5,000 a share before 2030. But I don't understand markets. Did they go to the UAE to skip US regulations for blindside chip? No, I think they're going to do blindside in the US as well. I don't think they need to. I think they have regulatory approval pretty well done, and they want to do this in the US. And I think from what Ryan said, they have at least 3 centers getting ready to start doing Neuralink implants. They've been doing them at Barrow Center, which is in Arizona, but I think he mentioned 2 others. Maybe Miami was one of them, and I think there might have been one more. Have I talked yet about any implications to Tesla by the bill getting signed this weekend by Abbott that goes into effect September 1? Britain, no, I don't think I've discussed that. I don't know what bill you're talking about. I think I saw something. I saw something from Texas about 7 Democrats wanting some change in robotaxi regulation, or maybe you mean the robotaxi regulations that are coming. What I saw was Tesla's already meets the standards that are in the bill. So I don't think that's a big deal. Can you do any hands-free driving yet other than full wife driving? I posted a video, I think, or I'm going to be posting a video. We drove to a place called Surat Thani. Surat Thani is about a 150-kilometer, 2-hour drive from here in Krabi, and a large section of that is on a straightish, one of the straightest roads in Thailand. It's hilly, but it's basically straight. And when we went, there wasn't a lot of traffic, so we were able to use autopilot. Autopilot is probably the same autopilot you get in the US. I don't like autopilot because it's nowhere near as good as FSD. I drove FSD beta the last time 2 years ago, and FSD beta 2 years ago is way better than autopilot is now. But it will go 130 kilometers an hour. I will go faster, probably. I set it 130 kilometers per hour. It will drive straight. It will keep the car in its lane. I think as long as it's not as confident. I don't feel as confident when you have a sharper curve, but in gentle curves, it's great. So I can do hands-free. I keep my hand on the wheel anyway. Full wife driving still works. She seems to like me driving more. Transportation as a service to Target after the show, Mark. Go for it. When's the launch of Robotaxi? The launch of Robotaxi is noon Austin. I don't know, is that 2 hours away, 3 hours away? I don't have a good sense of what time it is in the United States. So Breton, I think I answered your question. 2 hours, thank you. Yeah. It's almost 10 p.m. here in Thailand, and is that 9 a.m. East Coast? Is that 11 a.m. U.S. East Coast? I get confused. I lose track of things. Okay, so yeah, to me, like let me just hit that model. I want to talk about because this was a question that came up, and I want to address this question. The Robotaxi model, which I made videos about many times, I just want to hit this really quickly. Is imagine Tesla has 10 million Robotaxis making $50,000 a year in gross profit in the United States, leaving out China, leaving out Europe, leaving out wherever else they might be operating Robotaxis. 10 million Robotaxis, and well, Warren, can they make 10 million Robotaxis by 2030? They can make 2 million a year, and it's 2025. And all the ones that come off lease, right? No problem. And they could like maybe make a factory that makes more. So they could have 10 million robotaxis by 2030 easily, especially when they start pumping out cybercabs. So 10 million robotaxis making $50,000 a year in gross profit would be $500 billion a year in gross profit. Their gross profit last year was less than 20 billion. That's 25x. I think they'll have more than 10 million robotaxis operating in 2030. They might be making less than an average of $50,000 a year in gross profit because the gross profit will be less in China. But the US, I do think they could have 10 million robotaxis in the US making about $50,000 a year in gross profit in 2030. The market is big enough that I think they could sustain that level of profit. Hi, Eric. Do I predict $3 a mile today? Oh, I don't have a prediction. I'm not even sure they're charging money on the trial yet. I think we're talking somewhere between $2 and $3 a mile in the early days in Austin. Um, are you feeling the FOMO being away from the US today? No, no. I have a great life. My life is good. I have zero FOMO for not being in the United States. Would I like to be in Texas? Not so much for the Robotaxi event itself, but for hanging out with some of my friends in person. Yeah, maybe a little, but I'm having a really enjoyable life with this beautiful woman in my room, trying to ignore this live stream. We are having a wonderful life together, and I don't have any FOMO for that. We do hope to visit the United States in October. We are waiting for an answer on. We have an interview in July in Bangkok with the U.S. Embassy to see if my wife gets approved for a tourist visa. If she gets a tourist visa, we come to the U.S. for a few weeks and road trip and have a lot of fun. If she doesn't get the visa, we go to Osaka probably for a couple weeks, and then I go to the U.S. for a week to visit my daughters and come back. Never forget you called. They should make a smaller and bigger Model Y from as far back as 2022. It looked. I don't know. I think that's what they're doing. I mean, we've heard about a 6-passenger Model Y from Greenly only. So a 6-passenger Model Y, probably 3-row. My guess is 30 centimeters, 1 foot longer, but we don't know. Haven't seen anything that looks like that yet. And a smaller Model Y just makes sense, but they haven't done it. Does anybody have a picture or video of the Robotaxi app? So as far as I know, the last I saw, no one has been able to download the Robotaxi app yet. Chuck Cook mentioned in a Herbert video on X that he couldn't download it yet, and he was waiting to download it. That was several hours ago. Won't non-self-driving car sales plummet once people start seeing drive? Oh, won't cars that don't have self-driving sales plummet once people start seeing driverless Teslas? No, I think it'll take time. I think people kept buying flip phones when the iPhone came out. There will be a stream of negative media. There will be they will amp up the negative media like crazy. They're going to do everything they can to stop this. They won't succeed. Texas isn't going to let them stop it. Florida will embrace robotaxis at some point. California appears to be embraced. I expect we're going to see protesters trying to interfere with Teslas in Los Angeles. I mean, why not? That's all they do in Los Angeles is I'm stunned that they're doing robotaxi in California. Like, I understand that California is a good place to do robotaxi because the revenue is high and the demand is high, but they don't punish criminals. People are going to mess with the cars. And torched 5 Waymos. How much do you need to know we don't want to be operating in this place? They're not punishing people who are torching cars. Like, why would you operate a robotaxi in that situation? You run a robotaxi, somebody torches the car, somebody inside the car gets hurt, they're going to sue Tesla. Is Vietnam the new Thailand cost-wise? This is a great question that's off topic, but we'll talk about it. I actually might make a video about this topic. I've been thinking about making videos about Thailand and Southeast Asia and life in general in Asia. So I think no. I'm hearing that's being said a lot. I think no. First of all, Thailand is great. The idea that Thailand is getting too expensive is absurd. I'm in a large 4-bedroom house with a swimming pool, and I'm paying $1,500 a month in rent. And I just saw this video. This guy's like, "Oh, you can't really rent a decent apartment in Thailand for $200 a month." First of all, nobody says $200 a month. $300 a month, you can get a nice condo and a small but a nice condo in Thailand in a good building for $300 a month. But if I wanted to live cheap, I could get a decent apartment close to a station. It wouldn't be like fancy, but for $150 a month with air conditioning and a refrigerator. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you just want to live cheap, you can live cheap. And I think the quality of life is higher in Thailand. I think the food is better in Thailand. That's an opinion, obviously. Um, I think traffic is better in Thailand. Bangkok has a transit system. I don't know about Hanoi and whatever, but Da Nang was okay. But like once you leave the beach and you start walking in the city, Thailand's better. So I don't get it. I was only there for 3 days, so maybe there's something I missed. I have a friend who's in Hanoi and he likes Hanoi, so maybe Hanoi's better. But he has the same problems with traffic and scooters and walking in sidewalks that I had. So it depends what you like. What was this? Sorry, the chat is going too fast for me now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The batteries energy, Elon predicted could be larger than the automotive business, and Corpus Christi refinery coming online. And see, there's a lot of good stuff happening. Energy will be trivial compared to Robotaxi. Brian, let me know where you're going to be in Thailand. I'm going to be in Krabi the whole time, pretty much. So the brief stop in. Do I think Tesla should do a more conventional looking truck? No. I think that Cybertruck is great. I think they need to get the cost down on Cybertruck. No one has made a conventional looking truck that is really less expensive than Cybertruck. They might be selling them for a lower price, but they don't cost less to make. And let's be realistic here. Um, you'll see somebody is making a GM's making a truck with a 200 kilowatt hour battery pack, and they're charging less than Cybertruck. Yeah, they're losing $100,000 a year on the truck. Do I think there'll be a good bump in tomorrow's Tesla stock? I don't make short-term stock price predictions. I don't understand markets. I don't understand short-term stock pricing. Will you be able to have your Y imported to the USA? Why would I import my Y to the USA? No, I don't. I'm here. I have a Model 3. I have a Model 3 and a Model X in the US. Model 3 and the Model X have hardware 3. The Model X I don't really have anymore. That's complicated. My daughter has the Model 3. If we come and visit in October, I will bother my daughter's Model 3 or my Model X and take it on a road trip. Do I think this is the most exciting day since the invention of the automobile? I don't know if the invention of the automobile was an exciting day. Was there a day? It's an exciting day for Tesla fans. I don't think the rest of the world gets it. When do I predict the mortal and affordable model is unveiled and available to order? I think by the end of the summer. And I think I would not be surprised if they don't sell the more affordable model in the US. I don't think the market is that big for a small car in the US. I don't know that they will bother making it or selling it in the United States. Name me a car that's significantly smaller than Model Y or Model 3 that sells in high volume in the United States. Other than Corolla, I struggle. Are you going to make 500,000 cars a year and then sell 200,000 and then say, what were we thinking? I don't know. People are paying about that much to park their RV per month. Yeah, soy 6. No, if you are in Phuket, it's more expensive. If you are in Sukhumvit, which is the foreigner dense area of Bangkok, then things are somewhat more expensive. But even there, it's not that expensive and you can live cheap. What did the guy say? Oh, people are going to say you can eat for $1 a meal. You can eat for $1 a meal, but if you want to, like this guy was mocking $1,000 a month. Look, $300 a month for your place to live, $300 a month for food. That's $10 a day, not $1 a meal. Make breakfast at home. Eat 2 meals a day. I don't know. You can get dollar meals at Terminal 21's food court, maybe $1.20. Splurge, spend $2. You have $2 meals. You got $6 left over to cover your $10 a day budget. And then $300 on your place to live, $300 on food. You got $400 left over for hookers. Hey, I'm just kidding. Hookers don't cost that much. Hey, ho ho. If you drink alcohol, it's more expensive than Japan. I don't know if it's more expensive in the US. On Robotaxi insurance, don't you think the risk falls more on someone running into the Robotaxi? As a lawyer, you should know that Tesla should sue for loss of income on the other parties involved. Tesla's not going to bother suing people over small stuff like that. They'll just pump another Robotaxi in place. Tesla will self-insure, I would assume, on Robotaxi because Tesla can afford to self-insure, and having Tesla insurance probably set Tesla up with a claims operation to be able to handle it. Semi is your conventional truck. That's another video I'm working on, Jared, is 2-part video. The first video is just a like the business model for an individual semi. I don't think I haven't made that video. I haven't seen anybody else make that video. And then the potential for Tesla to make a downsized semi that would still be very expensive, but single motor instead of tri-motor, 1/3 the battery pack, 1/4 the battery pack, reduce the height, and you could put a pickup bed on it, or you could just make it a towing vehicle, and maybe you get the price down to 120 grand, but you can tow like kick ass on a Ford F-350. Um, at 74, I need a 50-year stock prediction. I don't do 50-year stock predictions either. Girls are getting expensive, like 8,000 baht for a long time. 8,000 baht? Not from what I've heard. I don't know. I don't know where you heard that. 8,000 baht sounds like way too much. You're shopping in the wrong place. I'm sorry, but you're shopping in the wrong places. If you 8,000 baht is $250. Kidding me? That's my 3,000 baht is $100. I don't think you're paying 3,000 baht for a long time. I've never paid for a prostitute in Thailand. So I don't know. My impression is it's a lot cheaper than that, but I don't know. Did I get the invite for the Robotaxi event? I did not get the invite. I did not expect an invite. I didn't get an invite. That's a whole hockey team. Yeah, I don't know where you're shopping. I think it's 700 baht for the bar fine to take the girl out of the bar, and then you negotiate with her, and I don't know. I'm not an expert on this. There's lots of YouTube channels that talk about that topic. There's lots of websites that talk about that topic. I think I bought 2 drinks in go-go bars, and one in Pattaya and one in Soy Cowboy, and that was enough. So, all right, we've been going too long. We're over an hour. I want to thank Mark, and I think it's just Mark, for moderating the chat today. Didn't have a lot of work for you. Got hit by 4 girl scammers, $0 cost, nothing to meet. Yeah, that's the thing you watch out for in Thailand is getting scammed. But don't go to bars; you won't get scammed. Don't, and it's a particular kind of bar that you don't want to go to. Does Cybercab make your own 2-seater idea unnecessary? I want to address this question before. No. First of all, my plan is a pod car. Let's talk about the pod car quick. This is a good chance to talk about this. Number one, my plan is a single-seater that would be dramatically smaller than Cybercab. Shockingly small. Basically, go-kart sized. 2 meters long, which is less than 7 feet, basically. 1 meter wide, a little over 3 feet wide. 1 meter tall, weigh about 200 kilograms, which is 440 pounds for those who don't know that. 5 kilowatt hour pack, maybe 10 kilowatt hours. Top speed, probably less than, maybe 70 miles an hour is my guess. So, early days, who knows? We'll see what we can come up with the engineering and everything. But so that's much smaller. The goal is to Cybercab should get the price of a ride down to 50 cents a mile. The cost of a ride down to 30 cents a mile. The price of a ride down to 50 cents a mile. The goal of the pod car is 5 cents a mile. Price. To be able to deliver rides where your cost is a penny a mile, and figure it's really 2 cents a mile and whatever. And, I think you get to, if you get down to a 5 cents a mile ride, then you get people in Thailand to choose Podcar Robotaxi over riding on the back of somebody's scooter. Smaller than the Renault Twizy, even, believe it or not. Smaller even than the Renault Twizy. And I might buy a Renault Twizy. If I can find a Renault Twizy in Thailand, I might buy one. Just to have it on hand to look at to see how they did that. And then how can we do a lot better than this? Sort of a model of what not to do. If you haven't looked up the Renault Twizy, TWIZY, it's a good thing to look at. I saw one in Istanbul. Posted a picture of it on X. So yeah, and the plan, the plan is too strong a word. What we're thinking of doing is renting something called a shop house, which is like a 3-floor, 5-6 meter wide building. Ground floor would be a dress shop for my mother-in-law to run, where she's a custom dressmaker from Bangkok. My wife would have a small cafe on the ground floor. And then the second and third floors would be my fantasy co-working space. Second floor would be for people who paid for the day. Third four would be people who paid for the month. And once I have that space, then one of the things I've been struggling with is if I hire someone to help me build the pod car, where are they working? I have the co-working space, and I think it's going to cost me about $700 a month to rent this shop house. And I think I can get something that's in walking distance to the house that we'll be moving into in a little over a month. And so I think this is a good plan going forward. So if we go forward with the co-working space idea, working title is the casual dress. There's a dress shop downstairs, the casual dress co-working cafe, something like that. And there's an automotive engineering program at Krabi Technical College. So maybe I can find somebody at Krabi Technical College, say, hey, I want to hack together. Go, can I find the guy? This is one of my frustrations with engineering in America. And I met with a bunch of teams building EVs for local universities in Japan and Thailand, especially, and Malaysia and a couple other countries. That the vast majority of the engineers on these teams don't understand the whole car, and they need somebody who's actually built like a whole thing. With a family, small kids, I'm very excited about a 6-seat option. Yeah, I think 6-seat is going to be huge in Japan and China and Thailand. Are the Chinese not making any super small vehicles? The Chinese make super small, super cheap vehicles, but they're 4-passenger vehicles that are shitty quality that can't go more than like 30 miles an hour. I forget, it's called the Huang Mini or something like that. They're pieces of crap. They're not engineering vehicles with no steering wheel and no pedals, and they're not engineering a vehicle with the design of like this is going to be self-driving from the get-go. That I haven't seen it yet. Even the Twizy has a steering wheel. Twizy's an old engineering design. I do like some things. I like the Twizy's wheels and tires. So if we can get that together, and I think we may have, in my fantasy, we will have that shop house up and running in August with the co-working space up and running, and then I will make an effort to find somebody who builds stuff. Let's build a go-kart together. Let's build a pod car together. Let's build a crappy. You think a university in Chiang Mai is building electric? There's several universities that build Formula One style EVs for this competition called Student Formula, Formula Student, in Japan, in Thailand, in the United States. The Society of Automotive Engineers in each of these countries sponsors this program. But that's not an electric tuk-tuk. And an electric tuk-tuk is also not the idea. There's a guy on X, Tesla and Doge. He's building electric tuk-tuks in Pakistan. I think there's electric tuk-tuks here in Thailand, but that's not the idea. Not the idea of having a guy in the front driving the car and this quirky thing that's not efficient and not able to go high speed, not able to go at low cost per kilometer, cost per mile. It's something that's low cost per kilometer, low cost to build. I think I actually tried to get in touch with Rich Rebuild about this idea, but he's not going to do that. I tried to find somebody in the US to help build it. It was just way too expensive. They weren't that interested. The guys who do stuff like this are too busy. So can I find some Thai guy who likes to build stuff and he didn't get really good grades, but he likes to hack stuff together? And can we get like a prototype built? And then say, okay, this sucks. Let's build a second prototype that sucks less. And after the third or fourth prototype, maybe I can call Tesla and say, hey, can we try FSD on this thing? And then if we get Tesla to say, yeah, we'll license this to you, now we do the crowdfunding round. And you're all invited to participate in the crowdfunding round. We raised $2 million at a $100 million valuation. Now we hire really good engineers. And then we really, we go through another 4 or 5 rounds of prototypes. And then we do a funding round to manufacture at scale. And we partner with Tesla and we run podcar robotaxis in Thailand. We run podcar robotaxis in Japan. We build a separate factory in Japan. Japan's a really good market for this idea. And we identify where else we can do it. Find the countries that'll let us do it. We do it. We deliver rides to students. We deliver rides to elderly people in rural Japan. And it's a banger. But it's easy for me to talk about it. I've been talking about it for years. It's getting really close to time to start building. So hopefully things go well. In August, we have a place. In September, I've hired somebody. And maybe it's a few different guys from the university who work part-time, the local technical college, and engineers are cheaper. And I want to hire. I was talking to Ryan about this. If I wanted to hire a mechanical engineer fresh out of university, out of college in the United States, $100,000 a year, $40,000 a year in benefits and costs. If it doesn't work out in 2 months, you fire him. It costs you another $40,000 to get rid of him or $50,000 to get rid of him. In Thailand, you pay them $10,000 a year, $1,000 a month, and they're thrilled. You pay them less than $1,000 a month, and they're thrilled. Do I watch Thai TV news now? No, my Thai is not good to watch Thai TV. Not good enough to watch Thai TV. Price target for the pod car. The cost of the target. I have unreasonable targets. The target cost for building the pod car is $1,000 a unit. That is unreasonable. But it's like you can stretch your imagination. If you do the math, it's possible. It's just like, yeah, that's a real stretch. But if you end up costing $2,000 to build, and you work out the numbers on what's this, then you achieve certain other goals like 20 miles a kilowatt hour, 30 kilometers per kilowatt hour, which really isn't as crazy as it sounds. That'll work. VA Weather Doc says, will lack of charging slow the Robotaxi rollout? What lack of charging? There's no lack of charging. There's just lots of charging. Yeah, well, you won't. The investment, the crowdfunding round would be in the United States. The company would be in the United States. The operations would be in. It would be a subsidiary in Thailand. You don't do a crowdfunding round in Thailand. You don't raise money in Thailand. There's more money to raise in America. Better intellectual property protection in America. Whatever. Better reasons to stay in America. So that would probably happen. It would. It's the pod car isn't for sale. The pod car would be, we're going to build a fleet and we're going to sell rides. If you can sell rides for 25 cents a mile and it costs you 2 cents a mile, then you want to make as many fucking pod cars as you can, as fast as you can, and you want to own them and you want to run them in your fleet. So yeah, the charging is not an issue. I don't understand why people think that's an issue. All right, we've gone way longer than I intended to go. It is bedtime in Thailand for us. It's past 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? So I want to thank everybody for watching. The Chronicles of Warren's failures in pod car building will continue. And Robotaxi is happening in less than an hour now. I think it's less than an hour. Maybe it's 2 hours. Very excited. Let's get excited about Tesla Robotaxi. Thanks, everybody, so much for watching. Thank you again, Mark, for moderating the chat. And we will hopefully see you all again soon. Bye-bye.